Bulls have won 4 out of 5 meetings with Leicester, beaten Leicester twice in the semi-finals in the previous years, 1 at home and 1 away. This will be the Bulls' 3rd final in 4 years, while Leicester have never been. But they're going to the weekend's grand final as underdogs. So, is this mission impossible for the Bulls away at Croke Park, or will it be the 3rd time as a charm? This is what Jake White thinks of their chances.
And it doesn't matter whether we beat them last year. It doesn't matter whether we beat them in the knockout game. I mean, it's all immaterial. It's now a final. And the wonderful thing about where we are is we have a lotto ticket. And you can't win the lotto if you don't have a ticket. At this point in time, there are 2 teams that have a lotto ticket, and we've got a 50% chance of winning it. And that's...
Welcome to Sports Cartel. My name is Tony, man, and thank you for joining me. To all the new subscribers, thank you so much for putting some trust in terms of your rugby knowledge and rugby entertainment on this channel. Let's get the 4 wins out of 5 into context. Last 5 meetings, the Bulls have won 4 out of 5 meetings with Leicester. But you have to consider that Leicester usually mixes up their team during the season because they put a high premium on actually winning Champions Cup. Half the time they'll be playing with youngsters and guys that are in the peripheral of the team. Out of the 4 wins, 2 of those wins were actually against what we'll consider as the Leicester A team. That was during the semi-final when they won away. That was a surprise for everyone, by the way, because they had to go away and win the semi-finals and then come back and play the Stormers. That was a tough one. And the other one was actually last year when they played the semi-final at Loftus. Of course, that was a humdinger of a match, and the Bulls actually deserved to win, and they actually beat Leicester fair and square. So how good are the Bulls away from home? Can they pull it off away from home at this big juncture, the grand final of the tournament? The Bulls away record is quite good actually. They've actually won 8 out of 9 games away, and the only loss came against the Sharks. So basically they haven't lost a game out of the Republic. The last meeting with Leicester was at Loftus, of course, which was against their second team. And the scary part about that game, Bulls only won it by 1 point. 1 point at Loftus against a second string Leicester team. This is what Jake White had to say about how tough it's gonna be winning and playing Croke Park against Leicester's first team.
Good. What will it take to make it 3rd time lucky, you think, against this Leicester team?
Prayer. Prayer. Yeah, I mean, all I'll say is that we know how tough finals are. And we lost a home final here when everyone expected us to win. And we won the games away from home that people expected us to lose. So, yeah, and I don't say that lightly. It'll take prayer because, we're going to travel and it's going to be tough. Guys, you're talking about an Irish team. It's like Ireland versus the Bulls. And, whether we try and underplay it, I mean, we've got to understand that Ireland have beaten All Blacks.
So, the question is, can the Bulls do it away without their star boy, Cameron Hanekom, and Eric Lowe? But he's been away, out of the team for a long time, so they've coped without him. But Cameron Hanekom is very, very vital for the Bulls. Similar to what happened with the Sharks, with Estebeth, are they going to miss him, or can they actually do without him in the grand final? Now, a lot of people might say, you know what, Tony, you guys are praising this Hanekom guy too much. Well, let's look at the stats. Hanekom topped the stats for the Bulls in terms of offloads. 27 offloads over the course of the season. Successful carries, 65. And turnovers, 16. Now, I'm not sure where you're going to get that. In actual fact, the turnovers are going to be so vital. So vital. And he had 16 of those, and he was 4th in the whole league the whole season. Let's have a look at the Bulls team and where they can try and put pressure on Leicester to actually win and try and win this game. Okay, it's going to be a tough one. try and win this game. Scrums won. The Bulls are first in the whole league, the whole season, with 125. Leicester are 9th with 110. Scrum penalties won. Again, the Bulls are first with 46. Leicester are 4th with 40. So not much of a big difference, but 6 penalties can swing the game. That's 18 points if you kick them over. Scrum offenses, the Bulls had the least, 32. So they were first in that. Leicester were 12th with 49 scrum offenses, which means the Bulls can actually put pressure during the scrum time. You know, Wilkolo, Hobbies, and the guys. That is where I think the Bulls can attack. Because the other stats, you know, the line-out stats, the kicking stats, they're sort of like on par. So you can't really gauge from what they've done throughout the season who's going to end up on top. But on the scrums, it's clear that the Bulls can actually put one over Leicester. Now, here comes the biggest issue that the Bulls have. And if they suffer from this, it's going to be bad. Over the weekend against the Sharks, they had 3 yellow cards. Course of the season, they've had 16 yellow cards. That's the most out of all the teams. And they've had 4 red cards. Again, it's the most out of all the teams. This is the league. Not even in the playoffs, the league, the most out of all teams. While Leicester have had only 8 yellow cards and 0 red cards. So they are super disciplined there. So if the Bulls want to win, the discipline has to be a priority for them. Jake White spoke about the discipline. This is what he had to say about it.
You know, sometimes it's like anything. The secret isn't doing it. The secret is getting caught, you know, or not getting caught. So, yeah, I think this year we've probably been on the wrong end of a couple of, and I'm talking about for us, wrong end of having numerical numbers less than opposition by our own mistakes. And I don't want to say discipline, because, I mean, to be fair, was there anything that you saw today that was ill-disciplined?
In conclusion, in the final, we've got 2 desperate teams and 2 desperate coaches. On the one side, you've got the Bulls. They've been in the final 3 times, and 1 they hosted last year. Never won it. This is actually their 3rd time, sorry. So they've been in the final twice and never won it once. This is the 3rd time. Leicester has never made it to the final. Now, if you understand how much money the Irish Board of Rugby puts into Leicester and how most of their players are actually internationals, and even their marquee players, you know, Barrett, Arceus Lema, good players, but they've never won it. They've actually never made it past the semifinals. So how is Leicester gonna go in this game? It's gonna be tough. Leicester lost against Scarlets, and it was a surprise. That was the game just before the playoffs. They lost against Scarlets, and it was a surprise to everybody. And the reason why they lost against Scarlets is because they chop and change most of the team. They've got a standard second team which plays almost like half the season, and the A team which plays the other half of the season, because the A team is more concentrated on Champions Cup. So that's why they're not fluid in some of the games. And as much as they beat Glasgow last week, they were not that fluid. It's just that Glasgow didn't show up. It was bad. Those guys were dropping balls, forward passes. It was a different Glasgow from the one that we saw play against Stormers, or the one that was in the final last year, because even Leicester was not fluid. Now, on the other side, the Bulls have had more games with the same players week in, week out. There's some fluidity around them. But the issue that they have is discipline. If they can stay as 15 men on the park without getting a yellow card or a red card, they've got a big chance. And if they can stay in the game, maybe until minute 60, 65, they're still probably about 5 points away. And Leicester is getting nervous. The fans are getting nervous because this is a big one for them as well. The coaches are under pressure because the fans want those guys gone, just like I want Plumtree gone. So they're under pressure. Jake White is just wondering, when am I going to get this? So he's also under pressure. So if the Bulls can stay with Leicester until 60-65 and get everybody nervous, I think they can sneak it. But the discipline can't mention it more. Discipline has to improve by 200%. 200%. No yellow cards at all. Then they'll survive. But as a South African, I do really want the Bulls to win. But unfortunately, I can't see it happening. Unless Leicester plays one of their worst games, like the Scarlets game, and the Bulls play one of their best games, like the semi-final game against Leicester last season at Loftus. That's how it can happen. I think the guys just going to have to imagine that they are wearing the green and gold because we're all supporting them as South African, and they have to push and get it. So that's the only way it can be mission possible. I wonder what you guys think. Drop me some comments below. Let me know what you think. Is it mission impossible or mission possible for the Bulls at Croke Park? This has been Tony. Thank you for joining me.